Hey guys, it's Mandy. Welcome to my channel. So for the entire month of June, my husband and I have been living on minimum wage. And not just any minimum wage, but the federal minimum wage, which is $7.25 an hour. My main inspiration for this video was the number of people I see complaining that they can't find a job that pays a livable wage. And these jobs that they're complaining about are actually paying, in most cases, well over the federal minimum wage. So in Arkansas, which is where I'm from, minimum wage is actually $11 an hour, and the cost of living in Arkansas is pretty inexpensive. In Tennessee, where I currently live, minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, but I couldn't actually find even one job that was paying at minimum wage. For the most part, they all paid well above minimum wage. There were a few fast food chains that paid just marginally above minimum wage, but there were a lot more even chain restaurants that paid $10 an hour, $11 an hour. Every grocery store was hiring, and they all paid between $11 to $15 an hour. When you walk into Target, there's a sign on the door that says, "Now hiring in all positions starting at $15 an hour." Walmart has a sign that says now hiring $14.50 an hour. UPS is hiring in this town and they're paying $16 to $17 an hour with no experience needed, no college degree. My opinion is that in this specific town, it would be easier to go out and get a job that's paying $10 or $11 an hour than it would be to even find a job that's actually paying minimum wage. I'm not trying to say that minimum wage is enough to provide for your family or for your particular situation. I do understand that I have been very blessed and my situation is more or less ideal. I've been relatively healthy. I don't take any expensive prescription medications. I don't have any people who depend on me who can't work. And my husband and I, we don't have any debt. But I have been living on minimum wage in Arkansas for my entire adult life, and I don't feel like I've had to make big sacrifices to do so. Now moving to Tennessee, where the cost of living is higher and minimum wage is even lower, I wanted to see if I could still live on minimum wage without making drastic changes to my lifestyle. So we pretty much made every purchase just like we normally would each month, except we cut out eating out altogether. Normally, Dan and I would eat out about once a week. We liked having either breakfast on Saturday or getting up early and going for a hike on Saturday and then having lunch somewhere. So that was kind of like our fun thing that we would do each week. Honestly, for the price of eating out, you can buy so many groceries. So we did cut that out this month, and that's the only thing that we normally would spend money on that we didn't spend money on this month. So here's what my husband and I spent this month in June. Now, I did make an introductory video to this little experiment, and in that video I explained that I was going to use 2 minimum wage salaries because there are 2 income earning adults in my household. Now, if I were single and I wanted to live in this particular city that I live in now, the cost of living is pretty expensive. I would probably have to have a roommate to make that work. But if I were living back home in Arkansas, then there are apartments where I could live by myself without a roommate and still make ends meet on minimum wage. So we started out with $2,113.86. That is for 4 weeks or 20 days of minimum wage pay for 2 adults. Our rent is $1,100, and that includes water and trash. We are required to have renter's insurance by our apartment, and that is $12.44 a month. Our electric bill was $49.58. We do try to be conservative with electricity, and we keep our air on between 76 and 78 pretty much at all times. I do feel like our electric bill was a little bit higher. Typically, back in Arkansas, it would be a little bit lower than that, but we are in the middle of summer, so I guess it makes sense. Our internet is $58 a month. If it were up to me, we would be having much cheaper internet, but my husband does like to play video games, so I believe we have the fastest internet option that there is. Our cell phone bill is $83.33 a month. I actually think that that's really expensive. I think you can get an unlimited cell phone plan for a lot cheaper than that. I've honestly just been scared to switch. I've had this plan for a really long time. I've had Verizon for my entire life, and I'm just afraid to switch to something else. I think I really need to look into other options that are less expensive. I just haven't ever done it. Our car insurance, which is liability only, is $56.31 a month. Now on gas, I did have to estimate this because June was a really abnormal month for us. Normally we drive a lot more than we did during June. My husband didn't start working until Monday of this week, so the very last week of June. The first half of June he was doing a lot of training, but a lot of it was online, so he wasn't having to drive to work. So I went back and looked at what we normally spend on gas, and typically we each fill up twice in a month. But I have a Prius and my husband has a Camry, so they're relatively efficient. And I think a good estimate would be about $93 that we spend a month in gas. I did estimate that to be a little bit higher than normal because gas prices are higher than normal. And here's where I was really surprised. I thought our groceries would be a lot less than they were. We spent $146.83 on groceries. That's really high to me. I typically thought I spent a lot less on groceries. The thing is that when I go to the grocery store, I usually spend around $20, so not that much. But I go to the grocery store like every 5 days, so it adds up. Because we just recently moved from Arkansas to Tennessee, we had to get new driver's license. Those were $28 each, so $56 total. And then I got my car tags and license plate transferred to Tennessee. It was $9 for the admission test and then $45 for the tags and license plate. The reason that we didn't do this with Dan's car is just because his car it's old. It's a 2003 Toyota Camry. It has over 200,000 miles and it's starting to have some issues. We are looking to buy him a new used car, not like tomorrow, but sometime within the next year. And so we're just going to try not to update his car tags or license plate and hold off until we get the new car. Dan did get a haircut this month. That was $21, and then he tipped her $5, so $26. And then there were just a few other things that were kind of like miscellaneous expenses. We went to a comedy show, and the tickets for that were $9 each, and that included a free adult beverage with the ticket, so really not bad. We'd never been to a comedy show before, and I don't know that it's something we would ever do again, but it was fun for like a one-time thing. Definitely not a necessary expense. It was just a fun thing that we did. And then I had to buy ant spray because our brand new luxury apartment has ants. We did not bring the ants here. They just came on their own. I actually think they're coming from whoever lives right across from this wall, because the only place we have ants is along the baseboard of this wall. Not on any other wall, not in the kitchen, not in the bedroom. Just coming from underneath the baseboards of this wall. So I got ant spray and I sprayed only this one side. And so far they're gone. They haven't come back. So I didn't report it to the management or anything. It wasn't that big of a deal. A few ants, they're gone now. Then the very last expense, I had to buy thank you cards. So Dan and I recently got married, and then also he very recently graduated from medical school. So we had people that sent us cards and some money and that kind of thing. And so I bought cards, just like these generic cards from Target that don't have anything written in them, and I wrote little thank you notes. These cards, I think there's 10 of them in here, and they were $4.36. So altogether we spent $1,765, which means that we ended up with $348 left over. So that's what I spent money on this month, but I think what's possibly even more important is what I didn't spend money on. So subscriptions. We don't have Netflix, Amazon Prime. We don't have a single monthly subscription to anything. There are shows that you can watch online for free. You can watch YouTube. It's free. So there are options out there for entertainment that are free. Number 2 is just household items in general, like furniture, kitchen appliances, kitchen utensils, knickknacks, pillows, rugs, decorations, pictures. I don't buy any of those things. So the furniture that we have, either we purchased it very cheaply secondhand or it was given to us. Pretty much everything in our kitchen, which we have, I think, more or less a fully stocked kitchen, our plates and bowls and utensils, everything that we have, it was given to us by family. So when I moved into my college apartment, both of my grandmas went through all their kitchen stuff. I'm the oldest grandchild. So both my grandmas went through all their kitchen stuff and they gave me all their duplicates and the things that they didn't really use. Dan's mom did the same for him. And so then when we got married, we combined our kitchen things. So we have probably more kitchen stuff than we need, and it was all given to us for free. That's even the same with my dish rags and my dish towels. I didn't buy any of them. They're my grandma's old dish towels. So yes, they're not the nicest. They don't match. Some of them have holes in them. Some of them have stains on them, but they still work. Just another example so that you guys understand that we don't buy things that we don't need. You guys are probably gonna think this is ridiculous, but our bed is a queen size bed and our comforter is a twin size comforter. We just haven't found a queen size comforter that's been on sale, and I don't wanna pay full price for one. Also, when I got my very first job out of college, it was a really good job. Like, I was making very good money. And my apartment did not come with a washer or dryer. It was very common for the area. Pretty much, honestly, you were lucky if you got an apartment with hookups. So that's all I could get. And I bought a washing machine, but I didn't want to pay for a dryer. So I just got one of those drying racks, and I would wash my clothes in the morning early before I left for work, and then I would put out my clothes to dry on the drying rack. And that worked. Number 3 is that we don't buy disposable items. So trash bags, I don't buy trash bags, I just use our leftover Walmart bags. Paper towels, we don't use paper towels, we just use dish towels to dry our hands. Same thing with napkins, and also this may be too much information, but the same thing with feminine products. I no longer buy disposable feminine products. There are several different options out there for reusable products, which are much better for the environment and also cheaper. Number 4 is clothing. And I find this hard to believe, but apparently the average American buys 68 new articles of clothing each year. That's crazy to me. I tried to think really hard about this so that I could tell you a truthful answer, and I think I probably buy about 5 new pieces of clothing each year. Number 5 is debt. So Dan and I, we don't have any debt at all. I know sometimes things may happen and you may have an emergency and you just don't have the cash to pay for it. I understand that. But I also know so many people who finance things like furniture and vacuum cleaners and computers and things that they just don't need and you should live without until you can pay for them with cash. Number 6 is a car payment. And I know you're thinking, well, you have to have a car to get to work, but with only making minimum wage, you can't afford to buy a car in cash. You have to finance it. And I understand that thought process, and I'm not saying that it's easy, and I'm not even saying that maybe everyone can pay for a car with cash. I don't know your situation, so I'm not trying to speak for you, but I do want to tell you guys about my mom. My mom grew up on a dairy farm. Her parents were dairy farmers, and they didn't have any extra money. They honestly struggled to make ends meet as it was. So my mom had zero help going to college, and she also did not have a vehicle. Now, there wasn't a community college in her town, and the college that she went to was several hours from her home. But luckily, there was another student from her hometown that did have a vehicle, and my mom could carpool home with her. My mom worked all through college, and she didn't have a car the entire time. She only had a bicycle, and she would ride her bicycle to class and to work. Then my mom went to vet school. She also did not have a car when she started vet school. She continued to save up, and the only car that she could afford to buy was an old, beat-up stick shift. But my mom didn't know how to drive a stick shift. She had never driven one ever before. Luckily, she had just started dating my dad, so he went with her to pick up the car and taught her how to drive it. But guys, if my mom can ride a bike to vet school and to her job, she worked part-time during vet school, which is unheard of. And if she can save up money while going to college with zero help from her parents to pay for a vehicle in cash, then I think you can do whatever it is you're trying to do as well. I think a lot of the limitations that we have in life, we put on ourselves. I hope at the very least you guys found this video entertaining. I know it can be a slightly controversial topic, so I would love to know, especially if you disagree with me, your thoughts and your opinions and your experiences. I would love for you to share those down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, especially if you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.